The distaste for the oil and gas extraction technique known as fracking. His Holiness recently posed with environmental activists, indeed, reportedly expressing strong concern about US oil giant Chevron exploiting shale gas in South America. Let's talk about this with Pete Kennedy, spokesperson for Frack, Free South Yorkshire. He's joining us from Sheffield in the UK tonight. Evening to you, sir. Thank you for your time, Mr. Kennedy. First of all, are you at all surprised that the Pope, the head of the Catholic Church, has got involved in this debate in the first place? It's not kind of really within his remit, is it?
No, I wouldn't have thought that it's anything to do with the Pope. I mean, that's news to me, actually. I've not heard yet of the Pope's involvement in this debate. So
you must be heartened, though, I guess.
What is it that he said? I've not heard this announcement.
He's against fracking, pretty much like you.
He's against fracking, brilliant. Right, well that's very good news to hear, and there are plenty of other people that are against fracking as well.
Well, there's a lot of pressure on the British government, though, isn't there, to lower energy bills, and shale gas seems to be one way of doing that, surely.
Well, it's been claimed as one way of doing it. I mean, a few months ago, David Cameron and George Osborne were getting extremely excited about the prospects of fracking, saying that it was going to solve our energy needs for the future. Ed Davey has since got involved and said that fracking will only bring down bills by maybe 2 to 4%. So it's not really.
Yeah, but these are tough times. Anything is helpful, isn't it? I mean, lower bills and greener energy, greener fuel for the future just never go together, do they? In a real world.
Well, they can do, and a massive investment in renewables and energy efficiency would be one way of taking ourselves out of our current energy problems. I mean, the issues with fracking at the moment are that we look to other countries such as America and Australia, and they're having terrible problems at the moment. There are some areas in Australia where they actually have to pay now more for water than they do for gas because the fracking has damaged their water supplies and they no longer have ready access to clean water.
I mean, how real are these problems you're talking about? That's one example you're giving us there, but how widespread are these problems?
Well, they are widespread, and one of the problems is that the British government hasn't actually fully considered all of the problems with fracking. And when we look to all of the reports that the British government are coming out with in regards to fracking, such as a couple of weeks ago, there's a report from Public Health England saying that there were no health risks posed by fracking. They are all based on the assumption that we have a very strict regulatory regime. Now, this regulatory regime currently doesn't exist fully. It has never been tested, and it has not been proven that we won't have these health problems in Britain.
OK, so how much noise do you have to make before the government looks more seriously at fracking, maybe even thinks about curbing it then, do you think? How much of an uphill struggle have you got ahead of you?
Well, we're going to have to make an awful lot of noise, I think. I mean, currently the Conservative government are fully behind fracking, and they are putting as much money and as much weight behind its exploitation as possible. We are hopeful that we might be able to break through in that, and we are currently, Frack Free South Yorkshire and a number of other fracking groups across the country, trying to raise this issue for the elections in 2015, so that we hope that it will be a key fighting point for the elections in 2015.
Pete, thanks for being on the programme tonight. Pete Kennedy, the spokesperson for Frack Free South Yorkshire. Thanks ever so much.
Thank you very much for having me.
Well, earlier